someone asked me, hey, are you okay? I don't think I could describe what I read. Why would I deal with waste when I can just burn things? You know what I'm saying? Today's library book is Greedy. I didn't know what I was getting myself into with this author because I've never read something from Callie here. So far, I am almost halfway. It is extremely fun in a sort of spooky way, in a thriller way, in a fast-paced way. We have our main character, Ed. He is British and he married a Japanese woman and they have a kid together. But he seems to have fallen into gambling and now is in debt to the Yakuza. Initially, I would not be interested in any sort of, oh, you're in debt to the mob type situation. Not a fan of that kind of stuff. But this had an interesting twist where in order to make money to repay his debts, he sees an ad in the newspaper for a chef for a very rich person. And he says that he worked in restaurants before, but you know, he's gonna fake it till he makes it in this job. And this is already an initially sketchy situation because why would a rich person like her need to hire someone from the newspaper? You know what I'm saying? The reason why I'm kind of making this video about this book is I just got to this section of the book and what just happened before, like I knew something fishy was going on, but oh boy. It does here in the beginning say, perfect for fans of Parasite and The Menu. And I love Parasite and I love The Menu as well. I thought it was insane, The Menu especially. Parasite, of course, is in a league of its own. I would not compare the two, but I guess the themes are similar where it comes to like class and wealth and all these types of deals. Definitely a thriller because I'm getting tense. I'm tense. I don't know what's going to come around the corner. And they're offering him like an obscene amount of money to be the chef. So something is not sitting right. And I guess I'm anticipating a link between the billionaire and the Yakuza and maybe even the wife, like his wife that he married. Something, she's saying things that make me suspicious. Anyways, let's keep reading. So I just finished Greedy. I know I was gonna say I was gonna read it and like da-da-da, but sometimes plans don't work out. I ended up just being greedy about reading this and I devoured it. Just absolutely, it helps. It's a short book. It's insanely readable. You just want to keep going and see what's happening because the dread, the buildup of dread is constant. And I think you could say this is kind of like a straight shoot down the line type of story, but you know, not all stories need to be, or not all books have to be revolutionary. I think we can have fun with a fun book like this, and I really enjoyed it. Was it predictable? Yes, I think it really was. And I have my little notebook here and I was taking a couple of notes. So I can definitely see where the inspiration might be like a Parasite or The Menu type of thing, where it is kind of a commentary on rich people and how they just treat lower class people, and also how lower class people or poor people might want to aspire to be something, and like the temptation that might be there of like if something is presented to you, how you might respond in that situation. With this billionaire lady Hazeline, I don't know, Hazel. She's quite literally batshit and has a really warped idea of things, and I'll get to a quote at the end. Let's get to my notes. Okay, so before I get into kind of like spoilers situation, like I said, I feel like this is worth a read. If you want something fun, quick, something written well, some fun, like what would I do in that situation? So, like I mentioned in the first clip, like the first thing, I had just finished halfway basically through the book when it starts on the main course of the book. There's a huge revelation, but a massive jaw-dropping moment that happens, and the author actually spoke about it in the acknowledgements. She says here, Last, thank you to that cheap bottle of red wine that I tanked, which led me to drunkenly changing a sex scene mid-write and turning it into a lamb shank in bed scene, my favorite of the whole novel. It looks like it was supposed to be a sex scene, but she turned it into an insane, devouring, disgusting, gross, jaw-dropping moment, which I actually read that in public. And I was like, I can't believe it. If someone asked me, hey, are you okay? I don't think I could describe what I read. Very cool. And that was immediately at the moment I thought, I love this book. Disgusting, but amazing. So then shortly after that, there is a sort of a teenager that comes in to the house, or is at the house, and Hazel says that, oh, this is a intern. And like, there's so many times in this book that everything is suspicious. Like, I know something sinister is happening, but I'm not sure, because I feel like a lot of times in these types of possible cannibalistic situations, it's like, oh, they kind of play with expectations. It's like, you think it's cannibalism, but it's actually not. It's just, oh, it's game, or it's whatever. They're eating something, whatever, you know? But in this case, it is exactly what you think it is, which it could be a little bit frustrating. It's like, maybe we could get to that a lot sooner. And Ed is quite dense, I would say, to quote the British on this, quite dense. The cannibalism implication is heavy from halfway on, and it's heavy, okay? So you kind of know, like I said, it's a little bit predictable, but it's still fun. Like, the journey is still fun. I enjoyed the situations that Ed was getting himself into. And the whole situation of the book is ridiculously does not make sense, but it kind of does towards the end. This Hazel woman is like some sort of philanthropist weirdo who has a warped way of doing philanthropy, and I'll get to that quote, like I said, in a minute. My next note is the gambling stuff, because Ed is a gambler. He is addicted to the feeling that it gives him, and you're almost there, just one more hit and you could hit big, you know, just one more. It's like that picture of the little miner keeping on going, and if you just keep going, you're gonna get that next big hit. So while I don't think it was really deeply discussed, which is fine, I think this is a great sort of overview into a mindset of a gambler and how it kind of ruins families, and how he's trying, but it's not really working. Ooh. Really didn't bother me, but I think it was a great sort of intro into the gambler's mindset and the effects that it can have on families. The next part that I had to take note of, which was hilarious. So when the freezer malfunctions, so the girl comes and the freezer malfunctions, and they're going downstairs into the basement, and I actually think more could have been done with the incinerator situation, because like, it's set up in the beginning that there's an incinerator in the basement, and ooh, you can just burn things. Why would I deal with waste when I can just burn things? You know what I'm saying? Because all the meat is ruined. And she's extremely upset about this seemingly normal meat in the freezer she's been collecting forever, for months, for this big feast that's coming up. And so they need new meat for this feast. And she's like, well, you're gonna have to go to the meat market, and you're gonna have to go to the cadaver thing and buy cadavers or whatever. He does go to the meat market. It's just a huge ton of fanfare, like there's mascots and all this nonsense. Like, it seems like a fun place to be, question mark. But he sits down next to an American who, this is relevant, actually, I didn't realize, to what's happening now in the book community, but he sits down next to a woman wearing Hot Girls Grill on a shirt in like diamonds. Very cruise ship-esque situation. I don't know, people on cruise ships wear a lot of sparkly outfits for some reason. But Hot Girls Grill, which is, you know, I was thinking maybe of doing a video on that silly story of the hot girls read situation, but you know, everyone's done it to death. If you don't do it immediately, it's done to death at this point. The girl apologized, she's retracted it. Just a quick note on the hot girls read situation. I think what happened, she was so insular in the community that she had built, she couldn't see outside of it. And it's like, this is the center of the universe. What I'm doing, what my business is doing, is the center of the universe, and everyone else can go screw it. She retracted it. Was it silly to even think about trademarking that? Absolutely. It was the dumbest thing I've heard of in a long time. Now we need the same energy for the blind date with the book people and the book boyfriend people, because that's ridiculous. How can you trademark book boyfriend? That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. I just thought it was funny that in this book we have Hot Girls Grill. TM. So the girl who, Ellie I think is her name, she is the intern or whatever, and she's kind of a brat, and it's just heavy again that it's implied that they killed an eater because they ran out of meat. I don't know, Ed has an inclination, but he's still surprised in the end when they're like, think about it, Ed, we're eating them, hello. One thing I really liked in this book was the relationship between Ed and the driver, Nakamura. I think that was very cool. I think there was a lot of tension everywhere in the book, and when he was chatting and smoking with the driver who has the sick wife, I think there was a lot of laughter. They were having fun with each other, which relieved some of the tension, and I like that. Then they mention a part about, there's a Christmas section, and they were talking about Christmas in Japan and how KFC is a tradition, a Christmas tradition. And they said that it was because, well, in the book it's explained as the marketing from KFC in the 70s led to it becoming a Christmas tradition, like it was a marketing stint. So here's a BBC article. 3.6 million Japanese families treat themselves to fried chicken from the American fast food chain in what has become a nationwide tradition. The genesis of Japan's KFC tradition is a tale of corporate promotion that any business heading to Japan ought to study, one that sounds like a holiday parable. There is truth to that. It kind of rings a bell about Christmas and KFC, but man, that's crazy. So I wanted to read a quote from page 255. I think it's kind of the crux of the whole thing. So Ed calls them mad. You're all fucking mad. And then Hazel says, Hazeline, why? Because I pay mothers to ensure they have a good, safe life? Because I spoil the children rotten? Would you not rather live 20 years in absolute luxury than 60 years where every single day is a struggle? Where you feel like a burden to your mother? A money leech? I'm doing God's work here, Ed. And Ed says, but you're killing people with their whole lives ahead of them. Wrong. Or she goes, wrong. Hazeline sings, the only reason they have a life worth looking forward to is because of the upbringing I have gifted them. If I left them where they were born, they would have nothing but decades of struggle or criminality to look forward to. I'm not stealing something from them if I am the one who gave it to them in the first place. I give them education and opportunity and mindful exploration, all things they'd never experience without me. Everyone dies one day, Ed. You will die, I will die. And all we can hope for is a quick, painless death, which is exactly what these young adults are receiving. Utterly painless. It's just insane, okay? I think Ed is right here. You guys are mad, crazy. This is ridiculous. And then it doesn't make sense whatsoever, but that's the fun of it, isn't it? Insane people doing insane things. And again, this is hopefully not a real thing. Regardless, I had a ton of fun with this book. I looked it up on Goodreads after I finished this book. A lot of people seem to enjoy this book. Is it a masterpiece? No, but it is insanely fun, and I enjoyed every moment with it, except Ed being dense. But yeah, if you're at the library and you see this one, give it a chance, give it a go. What are you reading? Have you read this book? What did you think? Let me know. And yeah, I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you next time.